The energy sector has gone from worst to first. The price of oil up 27% so far this year. Oil majors outperforming the broader market, with companies like Exxon and ConocoPhillips up by about 30% each. Joining us right now is Dan Yergin, IHS Markit Vice Chairman. Today, by the way, is the first day of Zero Week. It's an annual event that brings together the biggest names in the energy industry. It's hosted, of course, by IHS. And Dan, it's good to see you this morning. Usually everybody's coming to Houston. This time it's going to be virtual.
Yeah, it's virtual, and that means we'll have a lot more people, and we have quite a program ranging from the Biden administration basically coming to meet the conference, to Bill Gates, to the next CEO of Amazon, to Prime Minister Modi of India. So a lot of focus on this gathering this year because it's so timely.
You know, we watched what happened last year right after that meeting. If you go back a year, this was just before things started to really shut down across the globe. With that, you saw oil prices plummet to historic levels, in fact, even going negative at one point during the last year. Are we past that? Are we through the time where you think you have to worry about that and maybe we're getting back to a normal reality?
I think we're out of what we call the virus alley. Oil prices, to go even build on what you said before, up 70% in the last 4 months. And when our numbers for economic growth are that this year the U.S. will be 5.5%, oil will be 5%, strong demand driving supply and supporting it. Of course, the big question is how the oil exporters manage that and how quickly they bring back all that oil that they have sitting on the sidelines. And that's going to be a big question later this week for them.
What do you think happens? I mean, looking at oil prices back at $62, that is a long move, a very quick move, as you pointed out. But are we back to just life as normal, take the pandemic year out of things and kind of things go back to normal? Or are we looking at all kinds of different scenarios than we would have been a couple of years ago? You've got climate change people who are coming to speak there, and you have a lot of the big energy companies that have kind of focused, the big oil companies that have turned their focus towards trying to work within the limits of what they can do with climate change. How is the world different just from that perspective?
Even over the pandemic time, you've had more and more companies, including oil companies, saying that their target is net zero carbon by 2050, which is accord with the Paris Agreement. So that's a very big change. We're going to hear a lot about how strategies are changing. The energy transition, as it's called, will loom large. And then there's a question, Becky, about just how different is life going to be? Are you going to go to the studio 5 days a week or 2 days a week? The one part of oil demand that's not coming back yet is jet fuel. And what's the future of business travel? Although we think business travel will resume, but people discovered other ways to get around by electrons rather than molecules.
What about the catastrophic power failure in Texas? That we've just witnessed? What are we going to talk about? What will we hear coming out on that?
Well, we're going to have a lot of discussions about that because it's something that resonates around the world. I mean, I've been talking to people in other countries, and they can't believe that Texas, in the United States, Houston, energy capital of the world, would be knocked out by that. And I think it was a systemic failure. People are saying, is it this person, that energy source? I mean, the problem was ice, and that the system was not prepared for cold temperatures, although it had cold temperatures a number of times, freezing temperatures. And they cut off the electricity to the natural gas wells, so you couldn't produce the gas to get to the generating plant. So the whole system was caught in this vicious circle. And there's going to be a lot of effort to learn the lessons. And what it's going to drive home is you can do a lot of changes to your electric power system, but it has to be reliable. It has to be resilient as we depend upon electricity ever more.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.